Yo, hello and welcome to another replay analysis video brought to you by me, ViBE, Root ViBE, and in today's video we have Plasmid once again with what I thought I just saw was Masters Terran. The music is a little loud. Is it a little loud? Hold on, boys, let's just turn it down a tad because that was a little loud. I still want it on though. So we got a Masters Zerg versus a Masters Terran versus Diamond Zerg. We're going to be watching from Plasmid's perspective to get a real understanding of what he sees, what he should be doing. If you don't know how these work, what I do is I critique the player we're watching and hit ways that they could do things better, and I let them know what they're doing that's good and what they should be doing instead if it's bad. So far, nothing's happened. He's gone for 13 Overlord into drones. He's not letting his larva cap. He's spending his money as he gets it, which is good. Looks like we're going to see a 17 hatch. So far, it's fine. I think the music is super loud still. Sorry, boys. But yeah, 17 hatch coming down. So far, so good. Nothing really else going on yet. We're going to see this looks like a 17 hatch. 17 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pull is what it's going to be. That's a totally fine opener. I like the Overlord sitting here. Over the high ground is even nicer because if you were to get all in by some Marines, you don't have to worry about it dying. This is fine. I don't think you should go too far though. You should definitely come back soon because if there's proxies here and he's building bunkers here, you'll not see it. And your timing is actually like the timing of a bunker being built there would be in about 10 seconds or 15 seconds from now. So this is bad. I think this is bad. This should not have got left that early because this hatchery could be getting bunkered right now. If you want to scout out the map like this with your Overlord, with your second one, and eventually go over to his base, that's fine. But you should do it when the hatchery is seriously like 80% at the minimum. At the minimum. 80% of the way done. Your Overlord left when the hatchery was like 30% of the way done. Like it left really early. So just know that, just because you haven't seen a proxy here, like what if he built it right here? Like what if there was a barracks here and a barracks here and like a third barracks there? And then he just, as soon as your Overlord passed by, like you couldn't see anything. And then this Overlord leaves and he comes over and builds bunkers, you would automatically lose the game. Because if you let bunkers go up like that, you lose. It's actually even better to just leave the Overlord at the hatchery until it's done, and then leaving as well if you're unsure, if anyone's unsure about a timing. But leaving a dark spot like this is bad. All right, so we're going back to his build order here. We have 2 drones being pulled off at 100. It's going to get Zergling speed. He's making a few lings for the Reaper, I assume, and then droning still. So far, the build is fine. If this is going to be a macro game, what you should do, this is actually something I would recommend always doing against Terran if you want to go for a third base eventually. I don't do this myself all the time, but I really should. But here's what you should do. When you're in the droning phase and you start drone number 20 in supply. So you've started like a 19 Overlord and you start a drone on 20 supply. You should actually pull one of your drones off your mineral line, one of the 16 drones that's already on it, and set it to your third base. Because what happens is, if the Terran player goes for a barracks Reaper really fast, and he just runs right across the map and comes to your base, if you send a drone out at that time, your drone will get to the third base about, like, on most maps, like 5 to 10 seconds before the Reaper would be able to block you off before it gets in front of your natural. And as soon as the Reaper's in front of your natural, you're not going to be going and taking a third base until your speed's done, if the Terran is not really bad. But if you already have a drone at your third, you can take a third much faster. And honestly, right now, you should... if you're going to go for a third, you should be starting a third. You should have had a third already started, basically. You'd want to take a third around 26 supply or so. That way you don't larva cap and you still have queens going.
Queen has emerged.
Also, I think this Overlord barely missed the scout on this natural. I think he could maybe have a command center there. Like that's questionable fog scout. That's very questionable. Probably doesn't. Like obviously we know he doesn't because we see everything, but I think this is close. It's close. I would say it's close. Just 100% confirmed that there's no fucking natural. Because now this, seeing this and saying, okay, there's nothing here. This is, I like that you're going back and like just making sure, or kind of. This is going to be a Hellion Cyclone Allin, or just straight up pure Cyclone Allin. The best way to defend this, since you have not already gone for a third, this is what I would recommend you do. If I were you in this situation, and this guy's going to fucking one base you with just Cyclones. It's probably not going to be Hellions in here. It's probably just going to be pure Cyclone. He'll only make Hellions if he doesn't have enough gas to make a Cyclone at that point in time. But here's what you do, okay? If you're going to two-base it. Don't build any production in the front. Cancel this shit. I would love it if you just started a spine, or not a spine, a layer immediately, right now. And you start resaturating your gases like you're going to go for a two-base muta build. So you would start like a spire or a layer immediately, and then you would resaturate 2 drones on this gas immediately. You would then make nothing but drones, and you would take all 3 gases. All 3 of your 4 potential gases. Like the other 3, basically. You would take them all around 40 supply. Just droning. And then, while you're scouting him, as soon as he has 2 cyclones, like this, out, I want you to start spines. Basically, like, you would want to start like 1 spine right about now, like around 310. 305, 310. As soon as the cyclones pop, you'd want to make like a spine. And then like every 10 seconds that goes by, add a spine to it. Every 10 seconds. And you make it really beautifully organized too. You don't go spine, 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 spine. Don't do that. That's only what you do against Zerg. Because of the way Zerg works. Like, you know, Banelings can shit on that. Ravagers can AoE them down if they're tucked together. Terran Cyclones can't do anything about it. He just eats the damage. So if you went like, right now you had like 1 spine. 10 seconds later, spine. 10 seconds later, spine. 10 seconds later, spine. And you make this. You make spines, literally, and drones only, until you are fully saturated on your bases, and then you keep over-droning a bit more to make spines. But you'll make spines up until the point when your Aspire is almost done. So you'd have, like, in total, like 10 to 12 spines in front of your base. If this guy's going to one-base Cyclone all into you. And now, as soon as you have, like, let's say 12 spines, you'd have, like a row of, like, 8 spines in a line here, and you'd have, like, 4 more behind it. And now you're starting Spire, like, mutas. Then you can actually spend all your minerals, instead of on drones and spines, you can now start spending your money on Zerglings and mutas. So all your larvae goes to either muta or Zergling. And every time he tries to push into your base, your spines can just poke the shit out of his cyclones over and over and over and over. And it's going to do really well. It's going to do great. And then as soon as the Mutaling starts coming out, Mutaling actually destroys pure Cyclone, if you have enough of it. And you will have enough of it if he's already been training in spine crawlers for a while, or if he keeps trying to engage into spine crawlers. And then once you have Mutaling out, you could actually push out and take like double base. You could go 3rd and 4th base, and then you could start getting aggressive on his base. That's what I would. That's what I would do right now if I were you. That whole sequence of things. Because what's going to happen if you go for a Roach Warren in the front of your base, and you stay on 2 base roaches, especially if you stay on hatchery tech 2 base roaches, is he's going to fight you 1 time. He's going to kill the front of your wall. Your roaches and your lings are going to come out and try to fight it, and they're all going to die if he pulls SCVs. Because you'll be fighting in an open spot here without creep. Probably. Or even if you had creep, it wouldn't really matter. Roaches are slow as fuck. The roaches are only good against Cyclone Allin if you have roach speed. They're bad if you don't have roach speed because they're way too slow. Taking a 3rd is a mistake right now. Just because you've scouted, it's going to be a 1-base Cyclone Allin.
A new queen has emerged. A new queen. Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
So, if now let's just say you're in the situation you're in now. Okay, we'll say what I said before is irrelevant now because this game is now something totally different. Now the situation is you haven't gone for the spine route and the layer route and the 2-base meta shit. I think that's the best response to it though. Just keep that in mind, okay? But now we'll talk about it from where you are right now. What you should do right now is I like that you made Lings. I think Lings are the better option here than Roaches because Lings could potentially kill these units before they could retreat to more units up here. This is what I would recommend you do. These queens should not be engaging right this second. If anything, what they should do is they should be focus firing his SCVs, which you were for a second, and now they're attacking a Cyclone. It's a mistake to attack the Cyclones right now. What you should do is you should focus fire the SCVs, and every time he tries to kill your queens, you just pull further and further and further back into your creep. Into your base, basically. And if you can actually lure him in, or at the very least, if he keeps also backing up and you just move forward and pick the SCVs off, if you could pick off all of these SCVs before the fight actually starts, and then when the fight does start, let's say there's no more SCVs here to repair anything, then you move your queens forward first, so the queens take the initial hits from his units. You then would have all the Lings you just made come in behind the queens and wrap around his Hellions and his Cyclones as fast as possible. And if he stays and fights it, you can... The queens will start initially taking some of the damage, but your Lings will get a really good surround and kill everything without it being repaired. Or he'll back up and you'll have killed his SCVs, and now your queens get more time to generate more energy and you get more time to build more units. That's how it would work here. I would not say, oh, chase him all the way over here with like 20 Lings and he regroups with these Hellions over here, because these units are running opposite directions. These units would be running up while these units run down. So they would actually meet each other in about 5 seconds. You would not want to like chase forever. You'd only want to chase him to like probably the maximum, like right there at the green box. If you could get us around really fast within this radius of area, great, kill his shit before it regroups with other stuff. But as soon as it gets up to like right here, over here, up here, you don't really want to keep going because you know he's going to be fucking all-inning you already. You've saw it, or you've seen it. So chasing him further and further out is increasing the chances that you're going to let every Zergling you have get caught in a situation where they're going to fight rallies as well. And now you're going to get overpowered and die, and you'll be running back to your base while losing units. Or losing all your units across the map. So that's like the best way you could fight this right now. You should not chase any further than this. You should be really back up right now. The only thing that's really forcing you to take a fight is him killing your hatchery. Or killing something important like a Roach Warren. That sucked that your Roach Warren died because you chose to go for a Roach Warren instead of a Baneling Nest. And really what you needed to have done here... this is what should have happened. I agree with your choice to make Lings when you made them. Because the whole purpose of making Lings when you made them was to try and surround and kill these units, if possible. It didn't happen that way because he backed up, he pulled back. But let's look at your larvae really fast. You have 6. Let's also look at your ejects. You have no ejects right now. Let's back it up and let's look at where you went wrong. Because you should have also had roaches being built as well behind the initial round of Lings. So you have... I would have recommended you ejected the main. You do need units as much as possible versus this, because this is not like a one and done attack. This is an attack that's going to keep rallying more and more and more and more to your base. So if you neglect ejects, it'd be basically like him not having a reactor if you don't eject. It's the same thing. So if he has a reactor and you're not ejecting, you'll just get overpowered over time. So you need to fucking eject. It's important. You have to have an eject running on your hatcheries most, if not all the time, to be able to beat this. If you're going to try and fight it with units straight up. So the fact that you didn't eject is a mistake. Because what you're doing is, I assume you're just pulling queens over immediately as they spawn because you want to transfuse. That's a mistake. You need to eject. 100%. You can have more queens, which will also build up energy to transfuse, but you need to eject. It's super important. And now let's look at your Roach Warren and your larva. You've already made the Lings. You've already started some Lings. And you've got the attention of his units. But because this guy is also making Hellions, and you chose to go for a Roach Warren, you need to make roaches. And I also said before, I think your placement in this game, because of what he's doing, is bad. This is a one base Cyclone Allin. Never put your tech in front of your base. Always put it in the back, somewhere like where your pool is or something. Because if this roach horn wasn't going to die, you could have actually had more time to make roaches without having to worry about it getting killed like this. But even so, you could have still squeezed out like 6 to 8 roaches, most likely, if you would have injected your bases properly, and you would have made roaches before the roach horn died. Because we'll look at the larva. We'll look at the larva really fast. We'll also look at your money. You could have made 4 roaches at the very least right now, because you are now you could have made 5. You have the money to make 5 roaches, and you have the larva. Well, you did have the larva. You keep making more lings as time goes on here. You had the larva to make 5 roaches. Roaches are pretty required if you are fighting against Hellions as well. Again, I'm going to restate this because I feel like I might be confusing people. I like the initial production of lings, because if this guy were to have run straight into your mineral line, if you were like, oh, I'll make roaches. Roaches take longer than lings. A roach takes 19 seconds. A ling takes 17 seconds. That's 2 seconds longer on a roach. Plus, a ling can actually surround and stop a Hellion or a Cyclone in your fucking mineral line faster and easier than a roach can. A roach is better at zoning these units out than lings are. But if he already commits to walking in your base, because he totally could right now. If he wanted to, he could walk into your base. The lings are important for this reason, because you can actually save your drones from dying. You have a chance... God, my nose is getting so blocked again. You have a chance to surround and kill this army. So the initial lings were good. But you had time to make roaches as well behind the initial round of lings, and you didn't make it, which means now you need to do... So if that's going to die... You need to have a backup plan. You need to have, if you're going to go pure lings at this point now because your roach horn's going to die, you needed to have either made a second roach horn back here or a baling nest. Something needed to have been made, because now you have a bunch of gas that's going to be fucking worthless. As soon as you saw the Cyclones roll up at your base and you knew there was no way you're going to defend the roach horn, you should have immediately started something else behind here. Been like, oh shit, okay, let's start a baling nest or a roach horn. First off, I would have said, we've talked about all of it already, but yeah. Seeing this, don't ever fucking make shit in the front of your wall. But if this ever happens where the front of your wall is going to die, make something else behind it. Make something in a safe area. Otherwise, you're just going to lose the game straight up. But again, Queen should be killing SCVs right now. First and foremost, like, SCVs need to die. So you need to back up as much as possible. You need to not fight this. What should happen now is, this is much harder now because you're fighting Hellbat, Cyclone, SCV with nothing but pure Zergling and some Queens. This is what needs to happen right now. You need to grab your Queens, lure him into your base with your Queens, make him feel like he's winning the fight basically by getting aggressive and pushing. And you now need to also split your queens up. Like, this queen should go up here. This queen should go over there. This queen should go back here. This queen should go over here. Split your queens up. As he is aggroed onto you, you split your queens up. And if his units also start splitting up to attack your queens that are also split up, then you attack with your Zerglings. Because you can actually get much more surface area on his army without him killing everything in a little clip like this and being like, oh, all your Zerglings are now dead. So the situation is now much harder for you because of the setup you've given yourself. And the only way you're going to beat this army is by doing what I just said. Split your army up to also split his army up, and then have lings flood over the split up units and kill as many as possible. That's the only way this would happen. It would work. Yeah, the way it's happening right now is all your queens are together, which means all his army is together. So your lings are going to get really, really, really bad trades. And if you don't know what just happened there, this is also another way you could fight it. But this way is even harder than what I just said a second ago. You could actually trickle like 2 lings, 2 lings, 2 lings, 2 lings, 2 lings, 2 lings, 2 lings every like 1 second. And what that would do, you watch, it happens actually because, not intentionally, but it's because of your rally. Watch this. So all your Lings there got AoE'd to fucking hell, okay? The Lings actually did really minor amounts of damage, but the Lings up here, you just had like 20 Lings buy these queens about 3 seconds of time to DPS this army. And then the result of that was these, like 2 of these front Hellbats have died. Like 2 Hellbats have now died. But if you can actually have, like, this is harder than what this is the hardest thing to do out of everything I just said. So don't ever do this. But if the situation ever arose that this was going to be relevant, I'll explain this anyways. If you had a couple Lings all go at once, okay? Just a couple Lings, like 2, like I said, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Not 20, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. What would happen is, his entire army will go, oh look, Lings! Oh look, Lings! Oh look, Lings! Oh look, more Lings! Oh, more Lings! Oh, more Lings! And they'll continuously stop and attack, stop and attack, stop and attack, stop and attack. And they'll do it over and over. And it buys your queens time to actually DPS shit down without getting killed. Hardest thing to do is that out of everything you could have done here. But you do it with your rally point here in a second and you'll see it. Like these queens actually start killing shit. And as soon as a few of these Hellbats actually die, which is why you should have had either Banelings or Roaches. You chose Roaches. Roaches would have been great because Roaches could have actually kited and killed the Hellbats, and then you could just flood and kill the Cyclones easy peasy. But with the Queens, watch how the Queens actually start killing some Cyclones here in a second. A couple Lings, distract them. A couple more Lings, distract them. Look at all those Hellbats. One of them just died and the other 2 are about to die. Your queens just had time to hit like Hellbats like 6 times each. Because Lings were randomly flooding in little by little. And it was keeping the army busy going, kill that one Zergling, kill that Zergling, kill that Zergling. Not AoE 20 Zerglings at once. You know what I mean? Holy fuck, excuse me. Throat's getting dry, can't breathe. This is hard. But yeah. And now, once these Hellbats are this low, if they die, this is when you'd want to flood Lings, is when the Hellbats are gone. The biggest problem with this game right now is you've waited way too long to react to everything. You've just now, once again, restarted your tech. You've just started it. And it's really, really, really late. Which means this tech, it's a Roach Warren again. It's not going to be out in time for you to deal with what's about to hit you again. Which means you're going to bleed way too much larva because you're going to bleed out way too many Zerglings to deal with this. And even if you did get Roaches, slow Roaches are bad against Mass Cyclone because Cyclones can actually kite really easy and kill off all the Roaches super fucking well. And you're not going to have enough Lings that will be able to support the Roaches once the Hellbats are dead. What's basically going to happen is, if you don't die right now, you'll probably make enough Roaches in the future to kill his front line of Hellbats. But you're going to kill the front line of Hellbats and all your Roaches are dead. That's what will probably happen. Because you just don't have enough now. Too much, you're wasting too much, basically. Too much is being wasted. Right there, you just killed 0 units. And you just lost. I think that was probably like 20 Zerglings again. Let's see. Right now in the units tab, you have 8 Lings already out, and you have, we'll see. We'll just look at it like this. That's 10 Lings, 12 Lings. Yeah, you just lost 12 Lings for nothing, because you're getting impatient. 12 Lings, which is the equivalent of 6 larvae. So, those 12 Lings would have been really useful if, you would have had them later on, you know? Like, and all these other Lings that also died. They would have been really useful if you could just get rid of these Cyclone or these Hellbats. All those Lings would be super useful then on the Cyclones. The biggest mistake you could make is trying to fight this army when you're not going to have enough to swarm it. So 2 steps to fighting Hellbat Cyclone. 1, get rid of the Hellbats. By any means necessary, get rid of the Hellbats while trying to be efficient. Get rid of it with Queens, get rid of it with Spines, get rid of it with Roaches, get rid of it with Banes. Something has to get rid of it. That's not just pure Zergling. And then, as soon as the Hellbats are gone, if you've gone for Baneling Zergling, you'll have a lot of Lings left over, hopefully. And maybe even a few Banes. The Banes are kind of irrelevant, though, at this point. But the big thing would be, if you had Ling Bane, you would have enough Lings saved up, left over, by the time the Hellbats are gone, to where you could swarm, surround, and just kill all the Cyclones. And then you're an easy street. If you're going to go for Queen Zergling, pure Queen Zergling, which would mean you're not mining gas, which would mean you probably have more production. Spines, or not Spines, Queens, absorb and kill the Hellbats, and transfuse and just focus fire Hellbats and SCVs or whatever. This is not the best way to do it. It's a much harder way to do it. And you'd have to split your units up, get rid of the Hellbats, and then overpower. Again, it's always going to be the same thing. You get rid of the Hellbats first, and then go. The easiest way to do it would honestly probably be Roach. Roachling, because you're growing Roachling anyways, so it suits your build. Roaches, you make like 6 to 8 Roaches. And all you do is you attack the Hellbats, and you back up, and you attack the Hellbats, and you back up. You lure him further and further into your base. Meanwhile, you're picking off Hellbats the whole time, because you're avoiding damage from the Cyclones. And as soon as the Hellbats are dead, you then swarm forward with your Zerglings, surround, because Zerglings are way fucking faster than Cyclones, especially if you're on creep as well. You surround the Cyclones, hold them in place, and then the Roaches can move forward freely, while Cyclones can't move anymore, and the Roaches get just free damage on the Cyclones, while Lings are also doing damage on the Cyclones. Like, a lot of this game now that I'm going to talk about is really irrelevant, just because so much setup has already happened to where you're actually just dead. Because what's going to happen right now is he's going to push. All it would have to happen is he could push forward, having his SCVs on auto repair, just repairing his Cyclones and stuff. Your Spines will die so fast against this, and his Hellbats in the back will kill the few amounts of Lings you have. The only mistake I would say this guy could make is if he actually lets the Hellbats in the back get kind of like, oh wait, we can't move forward, and then some of the Cyclones get picked off by your Queen and Spine. If that happens, that's a big mistake by your opponent. Fucking hair. Ugh. But right now he has all the means, every bit of, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. He's basically won the game if he just attacks with Hellbats in the front right now. Never ever stand there and fight Hellbats while Cyclones are beating your ass. Don't ever do that. Doesn't matter what unit you use. The only time you should ever try to take a fight head on against Hellbat Cyclone is if you have Ling Bane. That's it. Because the Banes are going to blow up all the Hellbats, and your Lings are going to also engage and hold everything in place and kill the Cyclones. If you're not doing that, don't ever just stand there like this and just fight his army, because the DPS output of your army is like about 1/20th of what his is worth. Like, this guy does not give a single shit if Hellbats die. It's the same concept when you have like Immortals and Immortals and Zealots and Archons and Protoss. If a Protoss player loses all of his Zealots but retains every Immortal and every Archon, he's fucking happy because the actual real power of his army is still alive. No one gives a fuck about zealots. Just like no one gives a fuck about hellbats. These units are meant to die. All they're meant to do is to buy time for this to actually do damage. So if you stand there and give him the opportunity to do that, you're gonna lose a lot. But the downside here, it's the same thing against Protoss, who goes Archon Immortal Charge Lot. Just like Hellbat Cyclone, if you just kite the melee unit, just kite it. Attack, back up, attack, back up, attack, back up, attack, back up. You can kill off his whole front line, while the back line, the actual damage of his army, does very little damage. Like, you'll actually be doing more damage than he is if you just kite it. Because that's... I gotta say this one more thing. Because that's the way roaches work. Roaches have a lot of damage, actually. But they have a low... like, kind of a shitty attack speed. So if you just attack and you let the attack speed refresh the attack as you're backing up as well, because that's... if you're standing still in place on a move, or if you just attacked and now you're moving the whole time, the attack still cools down the same way either way. I can be running a roach in circles, and attack speed cools down just like it would if it's standing still and doing nothing. So maximizing your roaches by attack back up, like let them shoot and then you back up, you move back. So his army has to reposition forward. It doesn't just go and kill all your shit. My nose! And this is also slow roaches. Slow roaches are horrible against cyclones, as we stated before, earlier in this replay. The only way this is going to work, the only way you should ever fight cyclones with roaches when you have no layer tech is, again, if the roach's purpose is to kill the hellbat, and then as soon as the hellbats are dead, you have zerglings that will... if you had a bunch of lings here right now, like all these lings that died throughout this game, if they were here right now to now wrap around this army to stop it from just running away from you and kiting you now, you could actually hold him in place while your roaches catch up and just fucking pound his units down. But it doesn't exist now because you've gone pure ling against hellbats and now you're going pure roach against cyclones. So you're going the worst of both worlds here for Zerg. Pure roaches works against cyclone as long as you have layer tech upgrades. Like burrow and burrow movement. If you have that, you could do it. But if you don't have that, they're bad. Really bad against pure cyclone. Yeah, 100%. If you see someone ever doing this build again, just do what I said the first time. Spines and Aspire. And you're going to win every game so fucking easy. Like, your life would be so much easier than this unorganized, just like, mess of a game. See, like right now, I'm going to pause it really fast. Because I'm going to tell you the two ways that this could go down. You actually could win the game right now. If you had made a lot of lings behind this, let's just say hypothetically, okay? This hatchery had been making lings the whole time. This hatchery is making lings. And let's just say hypothetically, you had like 20 lings behind this. Just it's only 20 lings is 10 supply. Okay? It's just 10 supply. It's not that much. But this is, just hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Right now, you have 9 roaches currently in this fight. 9 roaches is more than enough to just wreck the shit out of his front line of hellbats, because he has 3. Like 3 volleys from 9 roaches, and all these hellbats will probably be dead. Also, we have a bunch of SCVs here. This guy has gone pretty committed to this. He's pulled a shitload of boys. He's got 11 SCVs here at this fight. If you would have just, in this fight, attacked him backed up, attacked him, backed up, like just like we talked about. You kite his units. You could kill all of his Hellbats, guaranteed, and the majority of his SCVs if he keeps him in the front like this, guaranteed. If this guy, however, pulled all of his SCVs back, the kiting is over, because you don't want to kite Cyclones. That's irrelevant. You can't do that. If you actually had the logic of trying to kite Cyclones, Cyclones have more range than Roaches, and if you move forward and attack them and run away, he'll just be doing a lot more damage than you. So kiting Cyclones is not a thing. But kiting SCVs and Hellbats with the Cyclones is totally a thing, because you're kiting away from the Cyclones to kill his front line, his melee shit. And if you could actually have gotten rid of the majority of the SCVs here and the Hellbats with these Roaches by kiting backwards, and then you flood forward with Lings, again like we just talked about, with these Roaches, you have a chance to kill this army, because there's only 4 Cyclones here. It's not a lot. It's actually a really tiny army. That's the way you should do it. And the way to do it incorrectly would be standing here and fighting it. Because what would happen if you stand here and fight it is guaranteed you're going to lose all your Roaches before this whole army dies. Like, he's going to probably retain like 60% of this army while this whole army dies. There you go. You fought it, and it's a mistake. Yeah, just you gotta do the I gotta want to keep repeating it because you already know, because I've already said it like 3 times. But it's the Ling shit, man. You have to do that behind the Roaches. Ravagers are not the answer. I'm gonna pause one more time because I'm gonna explain Ravager really fast. The only way Ravager would ever work is if you had enough Lings to surround his whole army and you realistically could hold him in place for like 6 seconds. Like, it's a guarantee because you had so many Lings that you're gonna hold this army in place. Because what you could do then is you could surround him and you could Corrosive Bile inside the donut basically. And you can blow up his own. It's like basically throwing banelings at him inside the middle of his army with in the form of a Corrosive Bile. It's the only way it would work. If you're going to go just pure Ravagers by themselves, it's not going to work, because a Ravager actually has less health than a Roach. Even though Ravagers are not actually armored, so they take less damage versus Cyclones, they are squishier than Roaches are. So that's the trade-off. They have less damage taken from Cyclones, but they have less health overall than Roaches. So it's not really going to do much for you. They do the same amount of damage as a Roach. They have a tiny bit of a faster attack speed, but they cost a shitload of gas. Like, it's a very expensive unit to make right now. So what's really going to happen is you're going to make Ravagers, you'll probably throw some Corrosive Bile. If he somehow stood in it, that'd be great for you, because you're like, wow, you stood a Corrosive Bile. Cool, I just got some free damage. But realistically, if the Terran does not just stand in Corrosive Bile, because there's no reason why he has to, he'll just push forward and kill your shit, and then you die. Because like a Roach, or sorry, a Ravager has 25 less health. Like, a Ravager will tank a Cyclone better than a Roach will, but not by much. A Ravager has 25 less health than a Roach does. They both have 1 armor, but a Cyclone hits Ravagers for 3 and it hits Roaches for 5. Which means it's doing 50 damage a second to a Roach. It's really doing it's doing 40 damage a second to a Roach because you have armor as well, and it's doing 20 damage a second to a Ravager. So it's doing twice as much damage to a Ravager, or to a Roach, than it is to a Ravager. I gotta pause it one more time and say something because I have to clarify this because I feel like what I said as well could also apply to something. Earlier, if you remember that I said you have to kite with the roaches. If you really want to go Ravagers too, you could also use Ravagers to kite the Hellbats. The Ravagers would actually do a better job of kiting the Hellbats than Roaches would, because Ravagers are faster than Roaches by default. Ravagers have Corrosive Bile that you could throw at his army too, and you might do some extra damage. Maybe you kill some SCVs. And, you know, it's the same damage overall. It's 16 damage per shot. So, and it did more range from a Ravager, so you're going to take less damage, like I said a second ago. Ravagers would do a just fine job. They do an even better job than Roaches would kiting the Hellbats backwards. But the only problem with this is, realistically, if a Terran player pushes you really early, it's the difference between, like, you'll have maybe 3 Ravagers or, like, 9 Roaches. That's the trade-off. So Roaches would have more, which I think is better, because you'd have enough of them to really overpower the Hellbats. Ravagers you'd have less, because it costs so much fucking gas to make a Ravager. You could have 4 Roaches or 1 Ravager, basically. I don't know why that guy's not just killing your drones. He's crazy. He's crazy. Alright, GG. So yeah. Right now, I'm going to go back to it. We're going to recap really fast. Well, small information. Best, I talked a lot about what you could do throughout the game. But here's what you should do if you want to play as well as you can against someone who does this. Guaranteed. This is what you should have done. I'll just explain it really fast. This Overlord, I would love it if you just scout a little bit further in. There seriously could be a command center here. It's really fucking bothering me. Scout up a little bit further, okay? Just a little bit more. I want you to see between where the gases are, basically, just to guarantee that there's nothing fucking gonna happen there. Because there have been games where someone barely doesn't scout the fucking edge of fog on a building, and they don't even know they have a natural. So always scout like a little bit deeper than this. Like the command center is not gonna be like right here. It's going to be like literally like right here. That's where a command center would be. And there's the edge of fog here. There's a chance that the fucking pixel covers it, even though you could see it potentially. Command center is not a square, it's a circle. So you're like barely cutting it close here to possibly not even seeing a command center if it actually was there. So scout in a little bit more than this because it's important. You need to know if they expanded or not. But the second you see this, the second you see this fucking barracks flying over here, I'd be like, what the fuck? And then you see this, factory with the reactor. I would immediately go, okay, well, he's going for a 2 factory timing. And the barracks is going fucking across the world right now. This is super weird. I'm just going to expect Cyclone Hellion. As soon as you see this is what I would love if you did it, okay? Cancel speed. Start a layer on either hatchery. Doesn't fucking matter. Could be either one. You shouldn't lose either one of them anyways.
Engaging the opponent.
Cancel speed. Immediately start a layer. Immediately start saturating this back to 3 drones. Immediately. That's what your initial reaction should be. And then drones, non-stop. And no roach warrant, spine crawler. And then every like 10 seconds that goes by, spine. Drones. 10 seconds goes by, spine. 10 seconds goes by, spine. 10 seconds goes by, spine. The reason why you do this is because it allows you to have an according to like his production, you'll have enough spines to push him back if he shows up at your base, and you're not fucking your own economy up super hard to where it's like, oh shit, he's going for mass cyclones. I need to have like 12 spines because that's what I heard. So I need to go like 6 spines right now and just save money for spine. And meanwhile, you have like 6 larvae per hatchery, and your drone count is back down to like 20. No, that sucks. That's fucking terrible. because you're gonna have way too many spines way too early that you don't necessarily need. It's overkill. Instead, again, like every 10 seconds, add another spine to it. 10 seconds later, add a spine to it. Make mass drones. As soon as you get to about 40 supply, gas. All other gases taken. Still making drones the whole time. You're not making a single Zergling. No Zerglings. You have these two, which is fine. I don't mind that you made those. You made those before you knew what he was doing because he might go Reaper, which is totally fine. Because you made 4 lings. That's fine. That's good. These lings can continue to scout. You could go poke his natural. Go see if he's moving out of his base. As soon as he moves out of his base, have another Zergling go behind where his army just left his base. You can count how many SCVs he's pulling, or if he's pulling SCVs at all. Because most Terrans do not lead with the SCVs. They follow with the SCVs. So you could check that out. These lings would be just basically scouts. That's all they're doing. Meanwhile, spine. 10 seconds, spine. 10 seconds, spine. 10 seconds, spine. You will fully saturate. You generate more larvae than what it costs to build 1 spine every 10 seconds. So your drone count will steadily go up while your spine count steadily goes up. Then you have a spire and Zerglings. Then as soon as you start a spire, then you restart Zergling speed. And then you go Ling Muta and you win the game easy peasy because Mutas could just probably win the game by themselves at this point. All you got to do is wait for him to push your spines. He attacks your spines. All the Hellbats die first. Once the Hellbats are dead, spines are still going to be alive. You then flood him with your lings, Mutas as well, and he tries to run away with his Cyclones. You surround him with your lings. He tries to start target firing your air units. All Cyclones die. You now have map control. You double expand and keep him contained on one base and eventually kill him. That's exactly what would happen if you did that kind of a reaction. It's exactly what would happen. Anyways. Hopefully that was good. Hopefully I went really thorough, boys. I always go thorough. Sorry, I'm like, sometimes it sounds like I'm getting intense when I talk. It's because I have to like breathe out of my mouth here because I don't know what the fuck it is. Whenever I have really bad allergies, the more I talk and the longer my sentences are, the less I can breathe out of my nose. And eventually it gets to a point where I can't breathe out of my nose at all. Let me give you an example. I'm going to try and breathe out my nose. Ugh. I have now an aneurysm in my forehead. So it sucks. So I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will, I always do more of these. If you guys liked it, there's a lot more of these on my YouTube. This is probably like the 15th or so one I've done now. So there's tons of these all over the place. Check out my YouTube if you want more of it. But for this one, that does it. I give you guys a lot of options as to how to deal with Cyclone Hellbat. But yeah, the Muta answer I was talking about, that's like by far the best. 1 base Cyclone gets totally dumpstered by 2 base Spinecrawler into Ling Muta. It really does. But guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. Peace, guys. Later. Adios.